Final call now, please. Final call for all drivers. All drivers, you need to be on the pre-grid in your race suit and with your helmet. Last call for all drivers to the pre-grid. Thank you.
Well, it's a very pleasant morning here at Karting Gate. Sunshine, clouds quite high, pleasantly warm, a little bit of a breeze. The rain of yesterday isn't there any longer, and our driver presentation parade comes up next. In just a moment, we'll start with the driver presentation parade. Those of you seeing the television pictures, see what a colourful occasion it is. The flags of all nations, the flags of everybody represented here. And of course, with the Academy Trophy youngsters, that does mean that we've got even more nations represented. Most of them are European nations, but in the KZ2 class, we have 2 drivers from Australia and 1 from New Zealand. But in the Academy Trophy, we have much more of an international field, with Brazil, United States, Costa Rica, Indonesia, Sri Lanka, all representing nations from outside of Europe. And always on these occasions, the driver presentation parade, one of the most colourful parts of the whole weekend. And if you're a red-blooded lad, well, there's some pretty girls to follow, because we always have pretty girls leading the way out, holding the nation's flags, and this is no different to all those other occasions. Nice view on the television of those of you gathered on the tribune steps just in front of the a la carte restaurant here at Karting Gate. It's a great view of the racing, and it's going to be a good view of the driver presentation parade. Good view in due course tomorrow, this afternoon, of the podium as well. One of the best views you can have in karting on the international stage. Well, once again, a big thank you to our distinguished guests. We have mentioned our friends from Macau in the Special Administrative Region of China. Patrick Castro, Herculano Ribeiro, they're still here today, although we did previously have a third member, Mr. Carlos Barreto. He's had to leave us a little early. We have the circuit owners, Mr. Paul Lemons, Mr. Koen Lemons, the circuit manager, Mr. Boy Pales, and of course from CIK FIA, Mr. Kees van der Grint, the Vice President, Mr. Kai Oberheider, the Secretary General, Mr. Randolph Barr, the official CIK FIA observer. So our driver presentation parade does begin, and let's have a roll call of the drivers that we're going to see. All of the nations represented will be called, the drivers coming out in their team orders. So, from Australia, from down under, we have 2 drivers, Jason Faint and Christopher Hayes. From Austria here in Europe, Marcel Müller, Felix Diesel and René Oswald. From South America, from Brazil, and is this a famous name? Pedro Piquet. From Eastern Europe, Bulgaria, Velko. Sorry, Velko Velev. May have got that the wrong way round, Velko. Sorry. From Switzerland, Kevin Gier. From Central America, Costa Rica, Diego Monge Velasquez. From the Czech Republic, Jan Midola, Michal Jilek, Jan Asmera, and Radim Maxa. Big entry from the German nation, Michele Di Martino, Marcel Jeleniowski, Julian Becker, Kevin Ilgen, Andreas Drazen, Johann Stefan Weber, Dominik Schmidt, Christian Eisenbeis, Alexander Schmitz, Tim Zimmermann, Patrick Kapis, Patrick Kreutz, Ricardo Negro, Manuel Huber, and Mike Bekkelsen. From Denmark, Andreas Fasberg, Toka Christensen, Jonas Hansen, Nikolai Rasmussen, Lasse Poulsen, and Valdemar Risson Pedersen. From Spain, Alex Palou, Jorge Pescador, Pedro Hiltbrand, Enrico Prosperi, Arturo Melgar, and Daniel Martinez Clavel. From Estonia, a one-driver team, but a good driver, it's Ralph Aron. Two drivers from Finland, Henry Koko and Jan Kovi. From the Republic of France, a large team, Gianni Gazzarelli, Anthony Abbas, Charles Fiot, Clément da Silva, Maxime Roy, Charlie Bizalion, Brice Degay, Nicolas Armout, Gauthier Beck, Nathan Edouard, and the lady Adeline Prudon. From the United Kingdom, two drivers, Ben Hanley and Jordan Lennox Lamb. From Croatia, two drivers, Christian Abulin and Marian Lucas Grabensky. From the Republic of Ireland, one driver, John Norris. Moving outside of Europe to Asia, to Indonesia, Presley Martono. And then to the largest representation of any nation, a huge support of this event from the Italians. The Italy teams, Paolo De Conto, David Forre, Marco Ardigo, Mirko Torsellini, Flavio Camponeschi, Roberto Toninelli, Saro Cesetti, Felice Teine, Simone Brenner, Luca Tilocca, Marco Zanchetta, Matteo Gidella, Matteo Zanchi, Alessio Pacini, Alessandro Manetti, Massimo Accetto, Serkos Movsesian, Nicola Marcon, Tommaso Marconi, Luca Bombardelli, Simone Conate, Federico Savona, Marco Genadese, and Eduardo Tolfo. 24 drivers from Italy, the biggest team. Only one driver from Sri Lanka, but he's a good one, Shanaka Clay. One driver from Lithuania, Dagilis Ignas. Two drivers from the Duchy of Luxembourg, Jay Hrisku and Loris Amano. One driver from the Principality of Monaco, Charles Leclerc. Big entry from our neighbours in the Netherlands, Bas Lammers, Sinan van der Rad, Verdi Grootz, Jorrit Pex, Max Verstappen, Dylan Davis, Arjan Kivitsbosch, Ricardo Romkemer, Jerome Boss, Marianne Kremers, Guus Spechen, Finn Koyman, Jard Pex, Pepijn Stayman, Simon Viggers, Milan Dontje, Jules Jimkoviak, Casper Dielissen, Jordi van Moorsel, Max van Mever, Menno Power, Toon de Winter, and Joey Alders. Four drivers from Norway, Finn-Erik Reismeer, Emil Antonsen, Sindre Jonsson, and Torjus Avdel. All the way from down under in New Zealand, Daniel Bray. From Poland, Bartosz Idzkowski, and the two girls from the Crazy Sisters racing team, Victoria Pankiewicz, Julia Pankiewicz. From Romania, Andrei Vaida. From Russia, Filip Bushnikov, Seva Gagan, Artem Petrov. From Sweden, Victor Oberg, Douglas Lundberg, Morgan Tornquist, Philip Gudmundsson, Joel Johansson, and Persson Benjamin Tornquist. From Turkey, Berkay Besler. From the United Arab Emirates, Pascal Pouk. From the Ukraine, Daniil Pranenko. And from the United States of America, Tazio Torrigiani. And of course, we have drivers from our host nation, Belgium. For the Belgian drivers, let's give a call to Jonathan Tournon, Rick Drazen, Yannick de Brabender, Adrian Brucciolleri, Kenny Schall, Maxime Poti, and Gilles Magnus. Now there are the drivers all in that wonderful semicircle, and they're going to be presented to and receive the greetings of Mr. Kees van der Grint, the Vice President of CIK FIA, Mr. Kai Oberheide, Secretary General of the CIK FIA, Mr. Randolph Bart, the CIK FIA Observer. I think caps are being presented to all of our drivers by the circuit owners, Paul and Koen Lemmens, and the circuit manager, Mr. Boy Pales, I think is also down there. Let me advise you of the principal officials of this event. The international stewards, Mr. Horst Seidel of Germany, Mr. Jaakko Markula of Finland, and the national steward, Mr. Philippe Lachmann from here in Belgium. Chairman of the stewards, Mr. Horst Seidel. The race director from France is Hervé Lemonager. The clerk of the course from Belgium is William Watte. The deputy clerk of the course from Italy, Alessandro Ferrari. Secretary of the event, Mr. Boy Pels of Belgium. Technical delegate, Dan Carter, Great Britain. Chief scrutineer, Victor Ubar of Belgium. The CIK FIA timekeeping delegate, Pierrick Bottolier. We've already mentioned the CIK FIA observer, Mr. Randolph Bart. Our servicing park officer, Mathieu Donnet. The assembly area officer, Gregoire Francis. The tyres and storage officer, Luke Houston. Officer in charge of relations with press, Lisa Moormans. And the officer in charge of relations between drivers and entrants, Boy Pales. Well, I really don't think there's too many more people I can tell you about, folks. I shall be talking to spectators anymore. But what a wonderful gathering here at Karting Genk. The sun's shining. Doesn't always shine at Karting Genk, but it is doing for our driver presentation parade. Just having a look at those lists of drivers that we had. Italy was the largest number by a big margin. Italy, not surprisingly, 24 entries. But from the Dutch team, we had, 15 were from Germany. The Dutch team had 23, so only one fewer than Italy with 24. Germany 15, as I mentioned. And 11 from our neighbours to the south in France. But many one-driver teams, and that's good to see. I have to say that I always love the driver presentation parade. It's one of the things that sets our sport apart, and it does illustrate that we in karting are a sporting family, a worldwide sporting family. Yes, when we are racing, it's very competitive. It's racing to win. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we thank our friends from Karting Genk for hosting this event so well. And as a mark of respect and acknowledgement to our Belgian hosts, we shall play the national anthem of our host nation, Belgium. Yes, the national anthem of Belgium, and we do indeed honour and respect our Belgian friends for the hosting of this event. We always get a really good event here at Karting Genk. So, the lovely ladies with the national flags now making their way back to the paddock area, and a big thank you to them, big thank you to all of our drivers, and we're getting away from Mr. Joel Johansson, so thank you to him. Well, our television pictures are showing something of the atmosphere of this event on track, because drivers from literally all around the globe meeting here in Belgium, gathering as a team group as they come out, but being called on a roll call by their individual nations. And as I said moments ago, just makes a really good atmosphere. Our television pictures are showing the grandstand, the tribune steps just in front of the a la carte restaurant here at Karting Genk. And now moving, as they should, to the pretty girls leading the lads off the circuit. Well, that was the driver presentation parade, and that was a very relaxed and pleasant little interlude, shall we say. But it gets rather serious in just under half an hour, because our track action recommences with the KZ2 pre-final going off at 11:50. That's pre-final 1, and the pre-final 2 for the KZ2 drivers at 12:10. Then the Academy Trophy drivers will have their opening race, and we shall follow at 12:50 with the KZ pre-final. Of course, this is the second and final round after our friends from Wackersdorf in Germany hosted round 1, and this afternoon we shall know the European champions in KZ and in KZ2. But for the Academy Trophy youngsters, this is the first of 3 events where the Academy Trophy destination will be determined. All of the Academy Trophy drivers in identical race suits, although a dispensation given to the lady from France, Adeline Prudent. She races in a very distinctive ladylike race suit. Always think this looks a little bit more like an Olympic Games situation rather than simply a World Championship or a European Championship. Just captures the friendly spirit of our sport. Karting, very much a serious sport, racing to win, important championships to be won, but we're a friendly family. That's the way we like to see ourselves.
Attention everybody, attention. We have a message from the police. The police have asked for a driver on a car to go back to it now, please. is a message from the police, so I would go now.
Well, for those of you tuned into our television coverage, the reason that we stopped speaking there was a paddock announcement, the police asking for the removal of a car in a dangerous position. Hasn't spoilt the atmosphere though, has it? You can still see from our television pictures drivers in their distinctive race suits. Those Academy Trophy identical race suits really do look nice, no question about it. So at the end of the drivers' presentation parade, still some group photographs, some team photographs, but the action on track will recommence at 11:50 local time. 11:50 local time, our KZ2 pre-final will be the first of our races. 11:50, the pre-final number 1 will have Emil Antonsen on pole position, joined by Marco Zanchetta on the front row. So something like half an hour gap in proceedings, and after that half an hour we shall be getting a little bit excited because the finals begin at 11:50 with pre-final 1 in KZ2 class.
WN VS 806. Go to your car immediately, please.
just want to give you a little diary note for later in the year. 19th and 20th October, the Child Thomas Crocker Memorial will be holding its 2013 event at Kirpen. 19th and 20th October, KZ Class, KF3, Tag Juniors, Rotax Max X30 Rock, KF2, Tag Seniors, Rotax Max X30 Rock, Mini 60cc, Mini Max, Micro Max, all of these classes represented. Please make a note of the date, 19 and 20 October this year at Kirpen, not so far from here. And please visit the website, www.thomascrocker.com. Please go to that website, read about it. Thomas was the European champion in KZ2 in 2007, and we keep the happy memory alive of Thomas Crocker at the Child Thomas Crocker Memorial. 19 and 20 October this year. Do make a note.
Jullie kunnen ook buiten in de tent drankjes kopen. You can also buy drinks in the tent outside. C'est possible pour 471, 3 Tostis, 471, 487, 2 broodjes gezond, 483, 1 spaghetti, 483, 469, 487, 487, 2 broodjes gezond, 483, 1 spaghetti, 483,
11:35 on the clock, 15 minutes to go. 15 minutes to go, we shall be racing in 15 minutes time. Pre-final one for KZ2 in 15 minutes.
Lievens,
Well, the clock rolls round to 11:48. In 2 minutes' time, the drivers will be taking to the circuit. KZ2 pre-final 1 scheduled away at 11:50. Drivers coming out. Daniel Bray, New Zealand, and Alex Smits of Germany, row 2. Christian Abulin, Croatia, Ricardo Negro, Germany, row 3. Max van Never of Netherlands and Nicola Marcon of Italy, row 4. Kenny Charles from here in Belgium and Patrick Kappis, the German, on row 5. Alex Palou, Marijn Krimers, row 6. Massimo Aceto and Yard Pex, row 7. Maxime Roy and Philip Goodmanson, row 8. Pedro Hiltbrand and Douglas Lundberg, row 9. And the top 20 is completed by Charles Fio and Radim Maxa on row 10. Manny Huber and Marcel Jeleniowski is an all-German row 11. Guus Specken and Tim Zimmerman, row 12. Jerome Boss and Philip Buznikov, row 13. Milan Doncic and Adrian Bruccialeri, row 14. And the top 30 completed by Simone Conati and Charlie Bizalion. Behind them, Clement de Silva and Marcel Muller, and the grid completed by Casper Dielsen and Felix Diesel. So, standing start for these KZ2 drivers, and moving to the inside pole position, Emil Antonsen. Yesterday, when we had some raining during the heats and rain affected races, the pole sitter was sometimes choosing the outer lane, as was his prerogative, but everybody on the inner on this one. "15-lap race for pre-final 1 for KZ2s. Emil Antonsen looking very relaxed. Mr. William Watte moves across to the right with the red flag. Very tense, the lights on, and away we go, and Emil Antonsen gets a good start from pole, so did Marco Zanchetta. So Marco Zanchetta from the outside of the front row, also away quickly. That looks like Alexander Schmitz in 3rd place, Daniel Bray in 4th place, as Emil Antonsen, the Norwegian driver, leads the field round to the right-hand hairpin for the first time of 15 and down the freeway straight. Well, the first of our drivers to leave the circuit has done so at the hairpin, regains, but until then everybody was safely through. And my read of that opening lap was Emil Antonsen, Marco Zanchetta, Alex Schmitz and Daniel Bray. Coming down towards us, has there been a change at the front? I didn't think there was. That is Emil Antonsen in the front, Zanchetta closely behind. Clark 180, Alex Schmidt. No, 130, Marco Zanchetta. So, as you were, the call was right the first time. Emil Antonsen, Alex Schmitz, Marco Zanchetta and Daniel Bray are the front running for. Daniel Bray bids to go 3rd but backs off and does not do so. Christian Abulin running 5th. Ricardo Negro, the championship leader, 6th at the moment. But Alex Schmitz putting pressure on the race leader, Emil Antonsen. And Daniel Bray bids to go 3rd again and finds the door closed by Marco Zanchetta. Good defensive driving by the Italian. Marco Zanchetta in 3rd place has gained 2 or 3 kart lengths by closing down Daniel Bray there. And Daniel Bray's move has lost him 3-4 kart lengths. Now Emil Antonsen, hotly pursued by Alex Schmitz, and Alex Schmitz gets his nose in front, but Emil Antonsen coming back. They're side by side up the home straight, and Schmitz executes the move and leads. Alex Schmitz, Emil Antonsen and Marco Zanchetta, the 1, 2 and 3. Daniel Bray of New Zealand is still 4th, but has lost a couple of kart lengths. That passing movement by Alex Schmitz has also taken some speed off Emil Antonsen. So Alex Schmidt's lead is about 8 kart lengths coming down towards the end of the third lap. Round the Serpentine left-hander, this straight coming down towards the tribune in front of the a la carte restaurant here at Karting Genk. Great view for the spectators. You see their heads at the bottom of your picture on the TV screen. Right hand sweep now, and there goes another pass because we've got Daniel Bray up into third place. Daniel Bray finally makes that pass that he's been threatened, and so Alex Schmidt 1, Marco Zanchetta 2. Oh, and we've lost Marco Zanchetta, and I think Daniel Bray has gone with him in that contact. Well, at the start of lap 4, disaster for Marco Zanchetta and Daniel Bray. That was my read of that one. In shot at the moment is Alex Schmitz, and boy is he sitting pretty now. Tony Kart moving up a place, I think may have been Nicola Mark on kart number 190. So a place gained by the Italian there, and with the two drivers having gone out in front of him, or at least having left the circuit, all of a sudden there's big changes atop. But huge lead for the driver. Our television pictures just foreshortening a little bit, and I think a change further down. Yes, so let me give you the call now. Alex Schmitz, your race leader. Emil Antonsen second. Christian Abolin third. Nicola Marcon made that move up to fourth. Max van Mever fifth. Kenny Charles sixth. Alex Palou 7. Marijn Kramers 8. Patrick Capis 9. And Massimo Aceto completed the top 10. And confirmation that the drivers that we called as being, shall we say, the victims, I don't really want to say victims because it may have been of their own doing, but Zanchetta went through in 16th place and lost much ground as a result. Just coming round now at the bottom of the field, just looking out of my window as well as keeping an eye on the screen. Kart 180, Alex Schmitz had a lead of 2 full seconds on the previous lap. It's every bit as much as that now, but it's a great battle. Oh, and some extravagant gesture there by Christian Aberlin. He may have been making an apologetic gesture, or it might have been an admonishment. He's hotly pursued by Emil Antonsen, who is just passed, and our battle for second, third, fourth is really the hot one. Not so far behind them. 5th, 6th and 7th, but way out in front. Alex Schmidt's lead is 2.4 seconds, biggest part of. Christian Aberlin of Croatia been very solid throughout this whole weekend's racing. Emil Antonsen also strong. Nicola Marcon in 4th place has really come stronger in the later stages. He was less impressive early on. Well, a mechanical defects flag is being shown, and I'm struggling to see the number, but we'll try to find that for you. This is the start of lap 7 of 15, so heading towards the half race distance. No, straining to read the number. It's 129. That's Douglas Lundberg. Well, Douglas Lundberg is in 16th place at the moment, the Swedish driver in kart 129. But Douglas Lundberg in 16th place is going to be fetched in on a mechanical defects flag. Well, on our television pictures you can see very clearly the extent of Alex Schmitz's lead, because if it looks big on the television screen, which can foreshorten it, that's a pretty accurate barometer of the health of that lead. Christian Aberlin in 2nd place, pulling away from Emil Antonsen in 3rd. Nicola Marcon still going 4th. Max van Weber is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, but has he lost a place to Pedro Hill? Yes, he's lost a place to Alex Palou. It was Alex Palou, the Spaniard, who drove through in 6th place. That relegates Max van Weber, the Dutchman, to 7th. Well, we're on that fast freeway straight here at Karting Genk, or at least most of the drivers are. In shot on television there, you saw Alex Schmitz. Alex Schmitz in kart 180. He's driving a Tony kart powered by a Vortex engine for the KSM racing team. Alex Schmidt's been solid throughout the heats. Didn't win a race in the heats, but boy, he's poised nicely for this one. moving into the second half. Under investigation, cart 149. So under investigation is Alex Palou. Well, you saw that move moments ago. I think we had another look there on television screen, and Alex Palou making the move to go into 6th place. That move is under investigation by the officials. Also under investigation, cart number 197. 197 is Patrick Kappis, the German driver. He's just gone up into 11th place. That was past Marijn Krijmers. That is also under investigation. Well, Alex Schmidt holding this big lead. Pretty useful second place margin for Christian Aberlin over Emil Antonsen. Emil Antonsen third. Nicolas Marcon in 4th place. Kenny Charles, the Belgian 5th. Then behind Kenny Charles, good little dice, Pedro Hiltbrand and Alex Palou, the two Spaniards, and Hiltbrand goes up a place. Hiltbrand takes 6th place off Alex Palou. So the Spanish drivers trading places. This is on lap 10. The race distance in the pre-finals, 15 laps. So we're on lap 10, coming round towards the 2/3 race distance. And Alex Palou yields the 6th place to fellow countryman Pedro Hiltbrand. Well, I want to do justice to our race leader and give him the credit for this big lead. 2.5 seconds advantage for Alex Schmidt. But the real action is not behind him with Christian Aberlin, nor Emil Antonsen, but Nicolas Marcon 4th. Behind him, Kenny Charles 5th, Alex Palou 6th. Those are the guys that produced the changes. Alex Palou now 7th, Kenny Charles 6th. That was on the move by Pedro Hiltbrand. Max van Mever 8th, Yard Pex in the top 10 at 9th, and Massimo Aceto, the Italian driver, on the Righetti chassis powered by the TM motor for the Gold Kart Racing team, completing the top 10. Patrick Kappis under investigation, nevertheless has gone through in 11th place. Marco Zanchetta, who went out in that contact at the start, has worked his way up strongly into 12th place. Good effort by Marco Zanchetta to get right back up into 12th place. That was from way down in the 20s when I looked at one occasion. This is lap 12. Lap 12 of 15. And Alex Schmitz of Germany continues to hold this strong advantage. You can see on our television screens that the wide gap at the moment, there is our race leader, 180, Alex Schmitz. Behind him, 176, Christian Aberlin in 2nd place. There is Emil Antonsen in 3rd place, Nicolas Marcon 4th. But most of the action behind those. Try to bring you the best of the action, both in my commentary and in the television pictures. But I have to say that the best of the racing was a little bit behind the guys at the front who've got themselves well spread. This is the end of lap 12. So 13th lap is commenced, and Alex Schmidt's lead is 2.2 seconds, has been a little bit more than that, but there's nothing to stretch Alex Schmitz at the moment. Christian Aberlin looks very safe in 2nd place. Emil Antonsen, the pole sitter, not really close enough to make any kind of passing move. Behind Emil Antonsen, Nicolas Marcon 4th, is being caught a little bit by Pedro Hiltbrand of Spain. And in fact, Pedro Hiltbrand of Spain putting the pressure on Nicolas Marcon, and Alex Palou of Spain putting pressure on the Belgian driver Kenny Charles. Perfect racing conditions here at Genk. We've had some very wet track in the heat. We've had some drying track, some raining on the track, but today's Sunday race day. It isn't a gorgeous sunny day, but it's a totally dry track. Breeze from a different direction. This is the start of lap 14, the penultimate lap. And Alex Schmitz in car number 180. And Pedro Hiltbrand has gone past Nicolas Marcon. Pedro Hiltbrand of Spain carrying out his threat to go into 4th place, and has done so. Nicolas Marcon, the Italian driver, relegated therefore to 5th. Our race leader continues a couple of seconds clear of the field. The dice behind is the more interesting one. Again, our television pictures show you that gap. This is second place driver Christian Aboline being pursued, as it was then moments ago, by Emil Antonsen. So the last lap board greets our race leader, Alex Schmidt, setting off on his last lap. There again, our television pictures showing you the gap. It's 2.1 seconds in time, and it's certainly the top side of a couple of dozen kart lengths. Hard to measure in kart lengths. He's going on to the back straight, as I tend to call it, but it isn't really the back of the circuit. It's the freeway straight, as I sometimes call it here at Karting Genk. And Alex Schmidt really has to have something in the realms of a catastrophe not to win this KZ1 pre-final one. Excuse me, KZ2 pre-final one. Sweeping round then, 1-8-0, our race leader. In the Tony kart, one more right-hander to make. He makes that right-handed turn onto the home straight, takes the checkered flag. There is the checkered flag on the left-hand side of your screen. Alex Schmitz wins it. Christian Aboline second. Emil Antonsen third. Pedro Hiltbrand fourth. Nicola Marcon fifth. Kenny Charles sixth. Alex Palou 7. Yard Pex 8. And Max van Mever, I didn't call him too much in the race after the early start difficulties, shall we say, coming home 9th, and Massimo Aceto holding on to his top 10 place at number 10. Marco Zanchetta, who had that collision early on, finishing a creditable 12th in all of those circumstances. Well, here's a look at the start, and shall we see if we can see how that contact came about. That looks clean enough, doesn't it? But getting on to the apex of the second turn, moving round kart 201, Emil Andersson being pursued by Alex Schmidt. This was the passing move. Alex Schmidt making a beautiful move. Daniel Bray in that blue kart. This is where the problem was. There was the contact. And it was a disaster for Daniel Bray, and it didn't do any favours for Marco Zanchetta either. Once again, just seeing how these tight moves are executed here at Karting Genk. And most of the really close action, kart 176 you see in shot there is Christian Aboline. Most of the really tight passing already completed. That was Pedro Hiltbrand. Kenny Charles also involved in that move. Okay, let's have a look at the checkered flag of the result. Alex Schmitz was the winner from Germany. Christian Aboline of Croatia was second. Emil Antonsen of Norway was third. Pedro Hiltbrand of Spain fourth. Nicola Marcon of Italy fifth. Kenny Charles, the Belgian driver, was sixth. Alex Palou, Spanish driver, seventh. Yard Pex, the Dutchman, eighth. He was in front of another driver from the Netherlands, Max van Mever, ninth. And Massimo Aceto from Italy, kart number 166, in 10th place. Patrick Capis was 11th. And Marco Zanchetta, who had that contact with Daniel Bray early on, drove up to 12th. Sadly for Daniel Bray, he wasn't able to recover and repair the damage.
Attention please, and CRG.
onder de tent. Well placed after that. You can also buy outside the drinks in the tent. C'est possible de acheter des boissons à la terrasse sur le dos.
Well, pre-final 2 for KZ2 is coming up next here at Karting Genk. That will see Jan Medala of the Czech Republic on pole position, and he'll be joined on the front row by Jules Jimkowiak from the Netherlands. Joel Johansson of Sweden will share row 2 with Simon Viggers of Netherlands. Another Dutch driver, Menno Power, is on row 3 with Sweden's Victor Oberg. Row 4, Christopher Hayes from a land down under, the Aussie. He's alongside Italian driver Luca Tilocca. Top 10 completed on row 5 by Kevin Ilgen of Germany and Matteo Zanchi of Italy. Jordi van Moorsel, Netherlands, and Ricardo Romkemer, another Dutchman, making it an all-Dutch row 6. Luca Bombardelli from Italy is on row 7 with Dominic Schmidt from Germany. Row 8, Finn-Erik Reismeier of Norway and Simone Brenner from Italy. Row 9, Jorge Pescador and Felice Tieni. Felice Tieni, who didn't post a time in the qualifying practice, had to start all of his heats in last place. Well, he gets a row 9 start this time. Row 10, another Italian, Alessio Piccini and Tommaso Marcono, making it an all-Italian affair. Yet another Italian, Alessandro Manetti, is on row 11 with the Irishman John Norris. Nikolai Rasmussen of Denmark and Bartosz Idzkowski of Poland, row 12. Toka Christensen and Federico Savono, row 13. Patrick Kreutz and Persson Tornqvist, row 14. Jason Faint and Julian Becker, row 15. Kevin Gier and Daniel Pranenko, row 16. And the grid completed by Seva Gagan, the young Russian, and Andreas Dresen of Germany. Well, Jan Medala, the poleman, was very, very solid throughout the heats, always making his presence felt. Took an impressive race win, but more than the race win, it was the fact that he was always there, second, third or fourth at worst, and always threatening to make a move forward. So, his reward, he starts pre-final 2 on pole position. 15-lap race, pre-final 2 in KZ2. It's the 2013 CIK European Championship Round 2. Well, Matteo Zanchi is out of his cart. Matteo Zanchi is out of his cart, and as a result of that, the clerk of the course, Mr. William Watte, has fetched the drivers round again for another formation lap. This formation is to facilitate Matteo Zanchi, who had problems with that BRM Modena, but has now got it going. He needs to get back to his 5th row position. At least he's got it going, but wouldn't want to surrender a 5th row start and start from the back. But he's still in the race so far. Well, it's tense enough at the start of any race, but this is a pre-final, and if you've qualified in the top 10 on row 5, the last thing you want to have to do is jump out of your cart and say, hey, I've got a problem, it's not happening. But he gets a second bite at the cherry with the drivers sent round on a second formation lap. Jan Medala on pole position, we mentioned. His fellow front row starter, Jules Jimkowiak. Always a strong on-track presence from the big Dutchman, but a lot of speed yesterday. Really surprised me. I've watched Jules Jimkowiak race many times. but he was particularly impressive yesterday. Hope that's not the commentator's curse going in. So, cart 216 just rolling round off the back is 7 Gagan. He's due to be on the back row, so I think he will make the start. Doesn't really matter if he dwells a little, if he's a back row starter. Teenager from, I think, St. Petersburg in Russia. William Watte, the start marshal, or clerk of the course, moves away to his right. First of the lights, come on. They're out, and Jan Madala gets a good start from pole position, but Jules Jimkowiak also with him. Joel Johansson making a decent start, but Jan Madala, the Czech Republic driver in cart 104, holding on to that lead. Simon Viggers also getting a good start, it seemed to me. Simon Viggers is in cart number 155. I did call Joel Johansson's name in those first names, but he's only 5th at the moment. Although Joel Johansson has tended to be a stronger finisher. But Jan Madala holding on to the advantage from pole position at the start of the race. Immediately under the pressure though. Cart number 155, Simon Viggers in 2nd place. Jules Jimkowiak in 3rd place as we complete the opening lap of 15. Behind those front running 3, that's Menno Power 4th. And Menno Power bidding to go 3rd, but it hasn't happened. And Menno Power backs off, and that allows Joel Johansson in 5th place to get just a little bit closer. But Madala from the Czech Republic, leading Viggers from the Netherlands, and Jimkowiak. We've been referring to Jules Jimkowiak as the Dutch driver with the Polish name racing for the Belgian team. Something of a United Nations man. Good race driver though. Jan Madala pulling away just a fraction from Simon Viggers. We've lost one of the drivers who was towards the back of the grid. Madala, Viggers and Jimkowiak remain the 1, 2 and 3 as we complete another lap. Joel Johansson, who had fallen back to 5th, is back in 4th. Menno Power 5th, they were the ones that traded places. Victor Oberg, another Swedish driver, in 6th place. Chris Hayes, the Australian, running 7th. Kevin Ilgen of Germany 8th. Another German, Dominic Schmidt, is 9th. And Jordi van Moorsel has driven into the top 10 at number 10. He's gone past Matteo Zanchi, who drops out of the top 10 to 12th. Joel Johansson goes into 3rd place. Didn't spot that on track, but I'm getting the call. Joel Johansson into 3rd place. And this rather follows the pattern because the Swede, even in his winning races, was not necessarily starting so strongly, but did come into the race and already getting closer to Simon Viggers, the 2nd place driver. On screen you can see there in shot in the blue and white race suit at the front of the race. It's Jan Madala. But behind Jan Madala, Simon Viggers, the Dutchman, already feeling the heat from Joel Johansson. Joel Johansson with the blue and white colours. There again from our television pictures, you can see how close he is to cart number 155. 155, Simon Viggers, and there goes the move. And Johansson into 2nd place. Johansson executing that move nicely, and now he's into 2nd place. Although there's about 15 cart lengths between himself and Jan Madala, Johansson has got himself in a very nice position. Bear in mind this is a 15-lap race now. Under investigation, cart number 165, Joel Johansson. 185 is the one under. That's Jordi van Moorsel. Well, Jordi van Moorsel has got himself in a few scraps just recently and dropped to 11th place. So not only has he lost places in that dice with Kevin Ilgen and Simone Brenner, he's under investigation by the officials. He's 185. When I first saw that board through the glasses opposite me, getting my binoculars trained on, I thought it was 165, which would have been significant. Joel Johansson's move up to 2nd place. Well, Joel Johansson is making some inroads onto Jan Madala, but he's not pulled so far away from Simon Biggers. Jules Kowiak still comfortable in 4th place. Again, our television pictures showing you the gap. There to the left of the screen was 3rd place Biggers, fellow Dutchman Jim Kowiak. So, we've at the 1/3 race distance, 5 laps gone, 10 to go. 5 laps gone, 10 to go in this 15-lap pre-final 2 for the KZ2 class. It's looking fairly comfortable for Jan Madala at this stage. Let's just have a peep at the times. His best lap is 52.84, but Joel Johansson has done a 52.80. 3rd place driver Simon Biggers 52.86, and those 3 guys are pretty much the fastest guys on the circuit. A 52.7 for Mano Power back in 7th place, and a 52.7 for Felice Taini, who's climbed up to 12th place from 18th. So Felice Taini, I think, actually the quickest on the circuit, but not yet in the top 10. 1:42 under investigation is Matteo Zanchi. Matteo Zanchi, the Italian driver, is in 15th place, but under investigation. Well, there in shot is a nice picture of Joel Johansson, and there is your race leader, cart number 104, Jan Madala. And whilst our pictures can sometimes foreshorten the view that you see on the television, online or at home or wherever you're watching it, I can tell you that Joel Johansson is getting closer to Jan Madala, but not dramatically closer, and it didn't happen as quickly as I thought possibly it might. But the gap is all at a minimum 2/3 of what it was, and maybe even Johansson getting close. In fact, Jan Madala just having a peep over his right shoulder. He knows perfectly well that he's in a comfortable lead, but he also knows that the driver behind is getting a little closer. You'll hear him, you'll see him at the hairpin bends like the one we're reaching now. That gives you a chance to see just out the corner of your eye. This is going down the freeway straight, very distinctive part of our circuit. The main road was to the right of our television screens there. Jan Madala in shot. Joel Johansson in 2nd place, getting a little closer. Simon Biggers, the 3rd place driver. You just saw Jules Kowiak on our television screens. There he is, Jules Kowiak, coming round now in front of... Wasn't Jules Kowiak, was it? It was certainly not. So I've lost Jules Kowiak. That was Christopher Hayes I was seeing, and Mano Power. Christopher Hayes. So let's have a look. We've got some more judicials coming. It's well, this is the start of lap 9. Didn't see why Jim Kowiak wasn't there, so that's one that has slipped by out of the net. Simon Biggers certainly still 3rd, Chris Hayes still 4th, Mano Power 5th, Dominic Schmidt 6th. Well, I told you that Felice Taini was 12th place and the fastest driver on the field, on track at the moment. He's now 7th. Felice Taini started all of his heats last, started this race 18th. He's up to 7th place, and we're on lap 9 of 15. So is there some more in the tank for the CRG driver Felice Taini? Good shot there on our television pictures. You're seeing Jan Madala of the Czech Republic having his lead eaten into by Joel Johansson. Joel Johansson, you can see how close he is in terms of our television pictures. Looking out of the window with the naked eye, I would put that at 2.5 kart lengths. Our pictures make that look a little less than that, but that was at the turn. But whichever way you look at it, Joel Johansson getting closer to Jan Madala. Coming down towards the a la carte restaurant, you'll see the heads at the bottom of your screen. There they are. What a great viewing position that is. You see most of the track, see about 95% of the track. And if you want a beer or you want something to eat, you just have to turn around and it's right there. 2/3 race distance. Lap 10 completed. Joel Johansson at the 2/3 race distance makes his move. Joel Johansson makes his move at the start of lap 11 and has taken the lead. So the Swedish driver, 3rd in the championship standings as we came into this round, has taken the lead in pre-final 2. Well, Joel Johansson, kart number 165, driving the Energy course chassis, the Energy chassis for Team Energy course, powered by a TM motor, has finished most of his races strongly, and at the 2/3 race distance has made a move. Drove with the Sean GP team in Indonesia, certainly up until last year. Now entering this competition with Energy course. At Marshall Point 1, Marshall Point 2, through the left and right chicane. And I think that our television pictures are just showing you that not only has Joel Johansson gone past Jan Madala, but he's put a couple of kart lengths between them. And Felice Tieni is up to 5th. Well, Felice Tieni, I didn't see that on the track, I didn't see it on screen, but it's being reliably fed to me that Felice Tieni is in 5th place. Oh, indeed he is. He's just gone past Menno Power, chasing down the Australian Chris Hayes. There is the gap. That guy that you saw there in 5th place momentarily on our screen. You're watching at the moment Joel Johansson getting a little bit away. This is the end of lap 11, so the start of lap 12. Joel Johansson to the left. In fact, I've told you one lap too few. That was the end of lap 12, the start of lap 13. So we've just got 3 laps remaining. And Felice Tieni has had a really, really good charge through the field here. Simon Viggers in kart 155 was holding on to that 3rd place. Don't see him in our camera shot, but I'm swiveling on my chair to have a peep. Let's stay with these front-running pair, though, because I tell you what, you cannot write Jan Mudala off, kart 104. I have said in commentary, correctly, that Joel Johansson has finished strongly in his races, but so has Jan Mudala. Joel Johansson just dipping his head momentarily. This is the start of lap 14. Joel Johansson in the principal colours of blue, Jan Mudala red and black. This race is not over, is it? Our television screen capturing nicely the dice for the lead. Kart number 165, Joel Johansson holding the advantage, but Jan Mudala really fast round that corner, really attacked the corner, and Mudala is not settling for a safe 2nd place. It's rather late in the race to ask for a blanket finish, because Jan Mudala has got about 3 kart lengths to make up, and Felice Tieni is up into 4th place. So the last lap board comes out. You see that on the right of the screen momentarily, I think. Joel Johansson leads. Jan Mudala is in 2nd place. There at the top of your screen, Simon Viggers and Felice Tieni go through 3rd and 4th. And in 5th place, Christopher Hayes, the Australian, who's just been passed, having been passed by Felice Tieni. This is Joel Johansson. Well, he does look to have a sufficient cushion now on Jan Mudala. At this point on the circuit, on the last lap, the Czech driver was a little bit closer. Don't think there's anything available to the Czech now, unless Joel Johansson was to experience something pretty catastrophic. Johansson then coming to the final right-hand turn, makes the sweep, is on to the home straight for the 15th time. There on the left of your screen is the checkered flag. Joel Johansson wins it. Jan Mudala in 2nd place. Simon Viggers 3rd. Great drive up to 4th for Felice Tieni. Chris Hayes 5th. Menno Power 6th. Simone Brenner 7th. Dominic Schmidt 8th. Kevin Ilgen 9th. And it was Alessandro Manetti who completed the top 10. Good race. Joel Johansson taking victory from a very dogged early race leader, Jan Mudala, who finished 2nd, and Simon Viggers holding off the challengers that came behind him, and maybe a little pleased to see the checkered flag, given that Felice Tieni was closing in on him in 4th place. Good race though. Hope you enjoyed that one. Well, looking at the early stages of the race, it will be interesting if I'm able to identify where we lost the big Dutchman Jules Jankowiak. It was not a move that I saw. Oh, there it, oh my! And well done to our television producer. Well, I say I didn't see the incident. I was looking at the track at the time. Our television pictures captured it perfectly. A very, very heavy clatter. Well, disappointing for Jankowiak, but these things happen. This was the dice towards the late stages of the race, with Joel Johansson taking the checkered flag. Good race. Once again, let's have a look at that call over. The race was won by Sweden's Joel Johansson by a margin of 0.37 of a second. From the Czech Republic, Jan Midola came second. Simon Biggers of Netherlands was third. Felice Tieni driving from 18th up to 4th place for Italy. Chris Hayes of Australia 5th. Mano Power, the Dutchman, 6th. Simone Brenner, a second Italian, 7th. Dominic Schmidt, the first of 2 Germans, in 8th place. The second of the Germans, Kevin Ilgen, coming home in 9th place. And completing the top 10, Alessandro Manetti, making it 3 Italians in the top 10. Just outside the top 10, we didn't call him in race commentary, but a good drive into 11th place for the Polish driver Bartosz Idzkowski. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was the 2 pre-finals in KZ2. When we see them racing again at about 14:35, it will be for the final time. The final coming up for KZ2 at 14:35. Here at Karting Genk now, we're just moments away from race 1 in the Academy Trophy. Well, just going back to pre-final 1, Alex Palou, who finished 7th, picked up a 10-second penalty for a jump start, and so is classified 20th from 7th. And Patrick Capas, exactly the same. He was classified 11th, but now 24th. So Alex Palou's jump start and Patrick Capas's jump start having devastating consequences for them. 7th to 20th for Alex Palou. 11th to 24th for Patrick Capas. Well, the Academy Trophy round 1, race 1, coming up next. And starting on pole position from Turkey, Berkay Besler. Joined on the front row by Belgian youngster Gilles Magnus. Ralph Aron of Estonia and Artur Melgo of Spain, row 2. Maxime Potti and Nathan Edouin, row 3. The first of our ladies, Adeline Prudent, is on row 4 with Presley Martono. Adeline from France, Presley from Indonesia. And the top 10 completed by Mike Beckhusen of Germany and Joey Alders. Joey, a Dutchman. Sindri Jonsson of Norway. And the second of the girls, Victoria Pankiewicz of Poland, are row 6. Torn de Winter and Gautier Beck, row 7. Shanaka Clay from Sri Lanka and Andrei Vaida from Romania are row 8. Marian Lucas Grabensky of Croatia and Valdemar Riesem Pedersen of Denmark, row 9. And the top 20 completed on row 10, Eduardo Tolfo of Italy, and the third of the girls, Julia Pankiewicz. Julia Pankiewicz and Victoria Pankiewicz racing for the Crazy Sisters racing team. But in front of them, Adeline Prudent of France upon the 4th row. So, rolling starts for the Academy Trophy drivers. Berkay Besler on pole position. Gilles Magnus joining him on the front row. Ralph Aron and Artur Melgar, row 2. Maxime Potti, Nathan Edouin, row 3. First of the girls, Adeline Prudent, Cart 333 on row 4. All of these drivers in identical race suits, so they're not easy to identify. And we're racing, and Berkay Besler a lot quicker away from pole than Gilles Magnus was. Ralph Aaron going through with him into second place. I think Maxime Potty was there third. Adeline Prudhon is in third place. So the French lady starting on the fourth row, but after a couple of turns she finds herself in third place. But Berkay Besler from Turkey leading this one. All of these drivers on identical Paralin Monza chassis, powered by the FIM motor and on Vega tyres. In the KZ classes they're all on Bridgestone tyres, but otherwise a choice of chassis and a choice of engine. But here in the Academy Trophy, Paralin, our sponsor, provide the Paralin Monza chassis, the FIM motor, and they're on Vega tyres. Maxime Potty in second place for Belgium, tracking our race leader, which was the poleman, Berkay Besler. First of the girls, Adeline Prudhon. Well, those of you looking at the circuit will know. I'm not sure if you can see on the television screens. I think you can. Adeline Prudhon, being a lady, got a dispensation, got herself a different colour race suit to the lads. Just looking a little bit different, being a lady. Now, Berkay Besler under really serious pressure from Maxime Potty. Well, Maxime Potty took a strange line there. I thought that was a little bit odd, because that's just allowed Adeline Prudhon in third place to get closer. So Maxime Potty feels he's got a potential pass on Berkay Besler, but this is so very, very identical in terms of the carts they're on that one little error can be quite costly. Adeline Prudhon being hotly pursued by Ralph Aaron in a racing sense, and Adeline Prudhon takes the lead. Adeline Prudhon takes the lead. Well, the lady from France, but she's quickly lost it, and she's going to spill not one but two places, because Michel Potty and Ralph Aaron are the guys that have gone through. In fact, I think it's Ralph Aaron in the lead. Again, please bear with me. Nice shot here on television screen to see how that unfolded. Not easy to identify the guys in the identical carts, the identical kart livery, the identical racing suits. It's really down to helmets, but I do believe that was Ralph Aaron going through with kart number 315, which was Maxime Potty of Belgium, and Adeline Prudhon, briefly the leader, in third place. Kart 315 in the lead is Maxime Potty, Ralph Aaron in second place. So I've identified the front running two, but in the wrong order. Maxime Potty, Ralph Aaron bids to take the lead. Now, can he make this stick? Yes, he can. Ralph Aaron taking the lead. So Ralph Aaron of Estonia takes the lead. Maxime Potty in second place, trying to go back at the inside of the hairpin turn, and Adeline Prudhon getting closer still. Well, Adeline Prudhon, not the driver that I thought I identified. That looks to me like Mike Beckhusen, the German driver. But Maxime Potty and Ralph Aaron having this really good dice now. Kart number 315 is Maxime Potty. 3-2-1, trying to take the advantage. Ralph Aaron not able to make that stick. So Maxime Potty continues to hold this narrow advantage of Ralph Aaron. I didn't spot that it was Arturo Melgar of Spain going in the mix with Mike Beckhusen. And now Nathan Edouin of France has got himself into fifth place. And for the girls, well, bad news for Adeline Prudhon, who dropped down to sixth, but good news for Victoria Pankovic. She's up into eighth place in kart 324. And so two girls in the top eight. And what about Pedro Piqué? He started in 21st place, but he's climbed way up to 11th. So Pedro Piqué of Brazil, no shortage of motorsport heritage in his family. getting himself on the edge of the top 10. Well, a driving standards flag going there, and I think that was cart 333. We'll double check that. If it was 333, it was Adeline Prudhomme. And if it was Adeline, well, it's insult to injury, because she's dropped down the rankings quite significantly and picking up a driving standards flag as well. So not a good race at first. Oh, and we've got some action at the back of the track of a wrong sort, but let's stay with these pictures at the front. Really good illustration of how evenly matched these drivers are. It is just down to driver talent primarily. You can gain a little bit more in the preparation in the paddock, but as I keep saying, identical machinery, Parallel Monza chassis, the FIM motor from out of the same factory, or their parallel factory, their sister factory if you will. As in the KZ classes, everybody on the same tyres. Bridgestone's in KZ and KZ2, but Vegas here, and is that a change-up for the lead? And yes, it is. That looks like Melgar easing his way past, if that's cart number 322. And I do believe it is, struggling to see the numbers, 322 it is. Arturo Melgar, the Spanish driver, started on the outside of row 2, has got himself into the lead at this stage. Race leaders on the approach down to the long serpentine here at Karting Genk, sweeping up a right-hand hairpin, now this gentle left-hand hairpin, now coming down towards us. And again, you'll see the heads at the bottom of your screen when you see the spectators on the tribune here in front of the gantry. 322, 331. Arturo Melgar in front of Ralph Aron. Third place driver still Maxime Potti, and we're at the half race distance now, because that was the finish of lap 7 of this 15 lap race. So in technically in just about another 200 meters it'll be halfway round, but for all practical purposes we're moving into the second half of the race, and Maxime Potti I think going through, or was that Mike Beckhusen? No, it didn't execute it, so Maxime Potti stays where he is, Ralph Aron likewise, and Arturo Melgar, the Spanish driver, gets a little bit of a cushion because of that attempted pass into second place. Cart number 322, Arturo Melgar, had a lead of about 0.15 of a second. That looks to be increased now. He glances over his shoulder. Let me have a look at that lead. It's 0.4 of a second, a lot more healthy. And fourth going up to third is Maxime Potti. Maxime Potti goes past Mike Beckhusen. Maxime Potti, the Belgian driver, back into third place. Ralph Aron is still second, and Arturo Melgar still holding the lead. Mike Beckhusen drops to fourth, Adeline Prudhomme fifth. Gauthier Beck has gone up to sixth, past fellow Frenchman Nathan Edouin. So 3 French drivers together. Prudhomme 5th, Beck 6th, Edouin 7th. Gilles Magnus is the second of the Belgians, he's 8th. Shanaka Clay of Sri Lanka 9th, and Pedro Piquet of Brazil in 10th place. So, of our nations, we've got Europe, we've got Asia, and we've got South America represented in the top 10. Good to see this CIK FIA WSK promotion reaching out into the distant parts of world motorsport. Good to see the youngsters. And into second place goes Maxime Potti. Maxime Potti goes past Ralph Aron. Well, quite a lot of trading of places. They're on the far straight alongside the main road here at Karting Genk, sweeping down now towards the right. Those of you tuned in and looking at our television coverage, you really have to work hard to identify the drivers in identical kart liveries, in identical racing suits. But there's a bid back for the lead, and it's worked. Lovely move by Maxime Potti. That's kart 315, Maxime Potti, who in half a lap has moved up from third to second and second to first. And this is the 2/3 race distance. 10 laps gone, 5 to go. 10 down, 5 to go. And Maxime Potti, the Belgian, I don't know how familiar he is with this circuit here at Karting Genk, but he's certainly raced a very, very good half lap there. As I say, from third to second and second to first. And into second place now goes Ralph Aron, is it? Ralph Aron has gone into second place, and Arturo Melgar has perhaps not done an awful lot wrong, going from first to third. Such are the vagaries of these evenly matched drivers. And looking down my screen, hey, good to see an American driver in the top 20. Tazio Torrigiani from New York State. Struggled a little bit in the early stages, but he's into the top 20 at number 20. For the other girls, incidentally, Victoria Pankovic dropped out of the top 10, running 13th in kart 324. And her older sister, Yulia Pankovic, she's a little bit further back in 24th place. But Adeline Prudhomme still in the top 10, albeit lost a place to Gilles Magnus on that last lap, dropped from 6th to 7th. Shanaka Clay from Asia, Sri Lanka, in 8th place. Well, again, our television pictures showing you very clearly that the lead, which at one time was just almost millimetres, is a lot more significant now. I don't know, as I say, about track knowledge, track advantage, but Maxime Potti in first place, got a very, very clear run. Ralph Aron second, coming under pressure from Gauthier Beck. Gauthier Beck of France in third place. This is the start of lap 13, so 3 laps to go. There is a back marker who will be in the eye line of Maxime Potti, but I don't think in 3 laps that that's going to be an issue. Blue flags can always be utilised if needs be. Maxime Potti and Gauthier Beck has gone past Ralph Aron. I missed that and not able to call it you from my view, but with a very capable spotter alongside me. Gauthier Beck on a bit of a charge. Well, I did say that I didn't think the back marker would be a factor. He's scrubbed off some speed and he's going to have to get off the racing line. Our television picture's showing you that, and he does so. 330 actually drives off the circuit. It's Dagilis Ignas of Lithuania. Well, if he saw a flag, I hope he didn't think he was being brought in. This is the penultimate lap, lap 14. Michel Potti on a big lead. Gauthier Beck in second place. Ralph Aron third. Mike Beckhusen fourth. Adeline Prudhomme mixing it with the lads. She went through in 5th place, but I think she's dropped more places. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think she's back in 8th place. So on those opening 2 turns of the penultimate lap, I think the French lady just spilling a little bit. But our television pictures showing you how tight and even it is there. Of course, what they also do is show you that comfortable lead. The left-hand side of your screen coming down towards us now. This is Maxime Potti of Belgium. Going through the chicane area, coming round to complete another lap, and he'll see the last lap board when he does. So Maxime Potti to the right of your screen, the last lap board. I don't think that our cameras picked that up, but certainly Maxime will know that. Let's stay with him to give him, or to do him justice if you like. Behind him it's still a good dice between Gauthier Beck and Ralph Aron. This, remember, is race 1, race 2 this afternoon. This is the first of 3 events. Go to Ortona in Italy and Varennes in France with this competition, so plenty to race for. No necessity to do anything massively dramatic if you're going to be finishing in 2nd or 3rd place in race 1. That's going to be race 1 of 6, so well worth holding on to your place. But Maxime Potti is going to bring home success for the Belgians in this one. Maxime Potti sweeping round to his right, onto the home straight. The checkered flag is ready. There is the checkered flag to the left of your screen. Maxime Potti of Belgium wins it. Gauthier Beck of France second. Ralph Aron of Estonia third. Mike Beckhusen of Germany fourth. Gilles Magnus of Belgium fifth. Shanaka Clay, Sri Lanka sixth. Arturo Melgar of Spain 7. And the Croatian driver, didn't give him a mention, Marian Lukas Grabensky, driving himself up to 8th place. Hey, and Victoria Pankiewicz, who dropped well out of the top 10, makes it 2 ladies in the top 10, because Victoria Pankiewicz for the Crazy Sisters racing team of Poland goes 9th, and Joey Alders goes 10th. No, it's not 2 girls in the top 10, because Adeline Proudhon dropped to 11th. So after Adeline Proudhon had led the way for the girls, she had to give way later on and lose the bragging rights for the ladies. Victoria Pankiewicz finishing 9th, Joey Alders, the Dutchman, 10th. Well, looking on screen now at the early part of the event, our early leader was Berkay Besler, wasn't it? And Berkay fell away very disappointingly. We also saw Adeline Proudhon. There is Adeline in 3rd place at that point, mixing it with the lads. Later on in the race, not sure how. There is a beautiful piece of passing, and Kart 315, Maxime Potty, showing a real skill. It was not so much just I'm going to dive through at any cost. It was nice positioning. You see a little bit of rattling left and right. A little bit out of shape there for one of the other drivers, but it's so competitive. 316, who you just saw in shot there, was Gilles Magnus, the second of the Belgian drivers. This is much later in the race, where we saw another attempted pass that didn't come off at that stage. I think that happened later on. The 2nd place driver going through, I think at that point, was Mike Beck, because no, it wasn't. It was Gauthier Beck. The spectators at the tribune in front of the a la carte restaurant, you see what a good view they're getting. There's the checkered flag, and that went in favour of Maxime Potty from Gauthier Beck and Ralph Aron. So let's give a full call over then at the end of that race 1 for the Academy Trophy. Maxime Potty of Belgium wins it. Gauthier Beck of France, a good drive into 2nd place. Ralph Aron, Estonia, 3rd. Mike Beckhusen of Germany, 4th. Gilles Magnus makes it 2 Belgians in the top 5. He was 5th. Shanaka Clay from Sri Lanka in 6th place. Arturo Melgar of Spain had a very good race. Will be disappointed to be in 7th place. Marian Lucas Grabensky of Croatia, 8th. And the first of the girls to finish, Victoria Pankiewicz of Poland, in 9th place. The top 10 was completed by Dutch lad Joey Alders, and just outside the top 10, the French lady Adeline Proudhon, who led the race for a very short period. Our drivers from the Americas, Pedro Piquet of Brazil was 15th, South America. Tazio Torrigiani of United States, North America, was 16th. So well done, guys. You got yourselves into the top 20. Good effort. Well, our next race, the last of the morning, or the last before the lunch break, is the KZ pre-final. The big boys coming up next. They're out on circuit now. Jordan Lennox-Lamb from Great Britain is on pole position. Johnson on the front block. So Jordan Lennox-Lamb and Yorick Peck sharing the front row. Marco Ardigo and Charles Leclerc row 2. Jonathan Tonon and Anthony Abbas row 3. Ben Hanley and Flavio Campaneschi row 4. Max Verstappen, coming into this event as the championship leader, starts on row 5 with Mirko Torsolini. Rick Drazen, Roberto Toninelli, row 6. Dylan Davis and Michele Di Martino, row 7. Yannick de Brabander and Ferdi Goertz, row 8. Henry Coco and Paolo De Conto, row 9. And the top 20 is completed on row 10 by Sauro Cesetti and Bas Lammers. Behind them, David Foré and Arjen Kivitz-Bosch. Row 12, Andreas Fasberg and Sinan van der Raad, and the grid completed by Gianni Gazzarelli. 15-lap race. Jordan Lennox-Lamb on pole position, Jorrit Pex joining him on the front row. And a little bit of a rolling start towards the back, but Jordan Lennox-Lamb not too quickly away, but the turn comes in his favour and he comes out of turn 1 in the lead. Jorrit Pex in second place, and in third place Marco Ardigo. As we go down towards the freeway straight on the opening lap of 15, Jordan Lennox-Lamb 1, Jorrit Pex 2, Marco Ardigo 3. Little bit of creeping around about line 4 or 5. And it wouldn't surprise me if that's something which is looked at by the officials. But Jordan Lennox-Lamb, after not a dominant first 30 metres, has got himself a 4 or 5 length cushion at this particular stage. 3/4 way round the opening lap. Jordan Lennox-Lamb, Jorrit Pex, Charles Leclerc up there in cart number 34 in third place, gone past Marco Ardigo, and Charles Leclerc dips his head. Ooh, and he's on a charge, isn't he? Jordan Lennox-Lamb, his lead was 0.4 of a second at the end of lap 1. But you have to think, what is the setup? This is a 15-lap race, because Jordan Lennox-Lamb had a very, very good race yesterday when he came home as the race winner. Jorrit Pex faded a little bit late on. Have to believe that something will be done about that. The fast finishing Marco Ardigo is fourth at the moment, but Charles Leclerc, the teenager from Monaco, running in third place. As you look at your screen, there are the rest of the top 10 going through, and just down beyond the top 10, some good dicers. I think I saw Yannick de Brabante, the Belgian driver, in that mix. Coming round to complete another lap, Jordan Lennox-Lamb just making an adjustment with his left hand, and Jorrit Pex getting a little bit closer. Charles Leclerc maybe even closer to Jorrit Pex. Marco Ardigo still comfortably in fourth place, but there is just the hint of a gap emerging between the top 3 and the chasing pack, led by Marco Ardigo fourth and Anthony Abbas fifth. Jonathan Tonon of Belgium is the guy who's running sixth, and just behind him is Max Verstappen. Now, Max Verstappen started 9th and therefore has moved himself up 3 places. Ben Hanley, having dropped places, starting a little bit further down, was in 8th place. No, Ben Hanley's only dropped 1 place at the worst. Jordan Lennox-Lamb continuing to hold the advantage. It's a slightly bigger advantage over Jorrit Pex here. Still Charles Leclerc, your third place driver. Still Marco Ardigo fourth. Anthony Abbas in the very distinctive Sodi Kart racing colours. Those of us here at the circuit, if we look, well, in my case, out of the window, it's very apparent. In the open air, it's very apparent. And to those of you looking online, our television pictures, that white and almost pink colour. And in fact, Anthony Abbas is getting a little bit closer, but Jordan Lennox-Lamb pulling away a little bit. Our television pictures just showing you that the biggest gap in the top half dozen drivers is the gap between 1 and 2. Kart number 24, Max Verstappen, I think has gained another place. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, he's still 7th. Max Verstappen tracking Jonathan Tonon in 7th place. Anthony Abbas back there in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Anthony Abbas in 5th place. We see again from that distinctive Sodi Kart racing suit. But Jordan Lennox-Lamb kicking on. Maybe the lead a little bit marginally less than it was, as Abbas and Ardigo have traded places. So Ardigo's Tony Kart racing suit has been passed by Abbas's Sodi Kart racing suit, and immediately a gap emerging between them. So is Ardigo struggling? Max Verstappen has got past Jonathan Tonen, and Max Verstappen, this is the 1/3 race distance, 5 laps gone, 15 to go, and Max Verstappen looking to try to get past Ardigo, and he does do. Max Verstappen goes up into 5th place. Max Verstappen into 5th place. I think our television pictures captured that nicely. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, Max Verstappen now in 5th place. So 3 CRG's factory drivers in the top 5. Charles Leclerc 3rd. Anthony Abbas 4th. Then a little bit of a gap. Max Verstappen, but you have to believe that's going to be a gap which will diminish. Jordan Lennox-Lamb continuing to lead this race from fellow front row starter Yorick Pex. Nice little replay there of that passing move. Well, as I'm looking at the television screen, I also, for other duties I have to look out of the window quite a lot, and have to say I do appreciate when we do see these replays, a very, very considerable help. Again, our camera's picturing that nicely. Kart number 24, Max Verstappen executing a couple of moves with ease, it seemed. Just looking down the screen, Jonathan Tonnen 6th, Ben Hanley 7th, Marco Ardigo spilt more places to 8th, Toninelli 9th, and Camponeschi 10th in this Italian-dominated top 10, either in nationality or factory machinery. So coming round to complete lap 7, heading towards the half race distance, Jordan Lennox-Lamb in this KZ pre-final. Got a comfortable cushion over Yorick Pex. Again, our pictures there just showing you it's not easy to know exactly the distances. Kart number 31, Jordan Lennox-Lamb, because you know that the television cameras can foreshorten, but in relative terms you can see that clear cushion that Jordan Lennox-Lamb has in first place from the chasing Yorick Pex, and Yorick Pex not too closely pursued by Charles Leclerc, but then it does get a little bit tighter when you go behind Charles Leclerc to Anthony Abbas in 4th place. Behind Anthony Abbas very closely is Max Verstappen, and Max Verstappen in 5th. There's no doubting what his immediate strategy is to go into 4th place, and he does. Max Verstappen immediately up into 4th place as soon as Anthony Abbas showed the tiniest of little gaps. You have to say that the Frenchman really didn't do an awful lot wrong in 4th place, but he left an opportunity for Max Verstappen, and Max Verstappen, the championship leader coming into this event, the winner of round 1 in Wackersdorf, didn't need any second bidding and was straight through into 4th place. Well, Jordan Lennox-Lamb increases his lead. It was 0.6 of a second. Yorick Pex may be a little bit closer, or perhaps I'll say it the other way round. Charles Leclerc may be a little bit closer to Yorick Pex, but Max Verstappen is about 8 kart lengths away. Just looking at my screen at the best laps, Max Verstappen's best lap is 51.415. The only person who's anywhere near that has been Jordan Lennox-Lamb, 51.410. Although way down out of the top 10, Paolo De Conto is running 14th, but he's done a 51.4, 51.48. But the evidence of our eyes is that Max Verstappen is getting closer. Not close enough to be able to make a move at the moment. Jordan Lennox-Lamb's cushion still remains the biggest cushion in the top half dozen drivers. His lead is 0.8 of a second. Yorick Pex, I think that Charles Leclerc is a little bit closer to Yorick Pex, but I don't think Charles Leclerc is going to be able to get a move on Yorick Pex before he's having to defend against Max Verstappen. We're at the 2/3 race distance, 10 laps gone, 5 to go. 10 laps gone, 5 to go in this KZ pre-final here at Karting Genk. You're looking on screen at Jordan Lennox-Lamb, our race leader. Coming into shot behind him, there is Yorick Pex. Having a glance over his shoulder, you saw Charles Leclerc in kart 34 glance over his shoulder. Tell you what you saw, Charles. You saw a fast closing Max Verstappen. And Max Verstappen not just closing fast, but really threatening now. And if Charles Leclerc and Jorit Pex were to make a joint error, it wouldn't take long for Max Verstappen to get himself into second place, not just third. However, Jorit Pex hasn't driven a lot wrongly. Charles Leclerc has been pretty solid in third place, but Max Verstappen, just the aura of the championship leader, so dominant he was at Backersdorf in round one. To those of you that are not familiar why Max started where he did, he won, and going through into third place, Max Verstappen does go to third place, and that's at the expense of the Monaco driver Charles Leclerc. Charles Leclerc trying to fight back, but it hasn't happened, and Max Verstappen has consummated that passing move. Let's have a look at it again. Just moving out to the left of your screen, there you see there's not a lot of room, is there? But credit Max Verstappen for seeing the tiny gap. Credit Charles Leclerc for not doing something stupid and chopping across him. Two very talented young lads going places in motorsport. Max Verstappen, after winning one of his heats yesterday, went out in a collision in the opening two turns in the other heat, and as a result of that he started mid-grid rather than where he might have done. But Jordan Lennox-Lamb, he's the one guy who's not got somebody snapping at his wheels. Coming into shot is Jorit Pex in kart 22. Behind him, Max Verstappen, kart 24. Max Verstappen looks over his shoulder, often the prelude to an attempted move. Max Verstappen is not under threat from Charles Leclerc. Charles Leclerc is hanging on, but he's not in a position, well, he'd be in a position to punish a rash move by Max Verstappen that created problems. Jordan Lennox-Lamb in shot on screen, really having a relatively easy drive. I'm not going to say an easy drive because in this company nothing is easy. That is 2 to go, 2 laps to go. We've completed 13 laps of this 15-lap KZ pre-final. Just remind you of the scoring. Well, I won't, because there's a move into second place, and Max Verstappen goes second. Max Verstappen goes second past Jorit Pex. Charles Leclerc trying to see if there are any pieces to be picked up. Not so. Just going to explain that the pre-final victory in the pre-final gives you the handsome reward of starting the final on pole position, but the pre-final itself scores no championship points. It's all on the final for championship points. So Jordan Lennox-Lamb starting the last lap in this big lead. Max Verstappen knows that there's no point in chasing after Jordan Lennox-Lamb from here. Jorit Pex just closing a little bit, but it was only a minor piece of later braking than Max Verstappen. So Jordan Lennox-Lamb, the main thing that he can gain out of victory in the pre-final, well, it's twofold. One, starting the final on pole position, and two, doesn't do any harm for your confidence, does it? Jordan Lennox-Lamb of Great Britain leading two Dutchmen, Max Verstappen second, Jorit Pex third. The Monegasque driver fourth is Charles Leclerc, and the home man, Jonathan Tunnon, is completing the top five. Well, we're with Jordan Lennox-Lamb on screen. The right-hander brings him onto the home straight. To the left of your screen, there's the checkered flag, and the race victory goes to Jordan Lennox-Lamb from Great Britain. Max Verstappen second, Charles Leclerc third, Jonathan Tunnon got a place back there into fourth place. Gosh, that was a surprise, not expected. Anthony Abbas fifth, Ben Hanley sixth. Yeah, Jorit Pex is the man who's disappeared. Whatever happened to Jorit? Well, doing justice to the race leader, kart number 31, Jordan Lennox-Lamb, has lost his sight of Jorit Pex, and Jorit has had a disaster on the last lap. Jorit Pex taking a disastrous last lap, and you have to feel sorry for the Dutch lad who really otherwise drove a great race. Ben Hanley 6, Marco Ardigo 7, Toninelli 8, Camponeschi 9, and the second Belgian Rick Drazen completing the top 10. Just outside of the top 10, the defending champion Bas Lammers 11. Well, looking on screen at the highlights, it's if we have captured whatever happened to Jorit Pex on that 15th and final lap, I'd be keen to see what had happened. Jordan Lennox Lamb in the early stages. Wasn't the easiest of starts for him. There's cart number 22, Yorick Pex, at that stage, as he was for 14 laps in a very comfortable position. Charles Leclerc now. We've not been able to see what happened to Yorick Pex, and I have to tell you that my commentary box position doesn't show me the entirety of the track here at Karting Genk, and that's a mystery. It's going to take an enquiry into the paddock to know what went wrong there. Well, let's have a call over of the race result of the KZ pre-final. Victory going to the British driver Jordan Lennox Lamb. In second place, the Dutch driver Max Verstappen. And in third place from Monaco, Charles Leclerc. A Belgian in fourth place was Jonathan Tournon. And a Frenchman in fifth place was Anthony Abbas. The second of the two British drivers in the race was Ben Hanley, and he came home in a handy sixth place. Marco Ardigo was seventh, Roberto Toninelli eighth, Flavio Campaneschi was ninth, and a second Belgian making the top 10 was Rick Drazen at number 10. Bas Lammers, the defending champion, just out of the top 10 in 11th place, but many commiserations to the driver in kart 22, Yorick Pex, who went out on the final lap when he was in third place. But that's karting, but a very, very disappointing end for the very likeable Dutchman, Yorick Pex. His elder brother Yard racing in KZ2, but Yorick right now feeling a little bit down in the dumps. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes our morning racing session. The next track action is the KZ2 final. They'll be on the pre-grid on track at 14:20. 15 minutes later, we expect the race to start. Those of you here on circuit at Karting Genk, get your positions nice and early. Those of you tuned in online, tune in nice and early. Coming in cart number 30 is Mirko Torsolini on the recovery wagon, didn't complete a lap. So our next track action, 14:35, the KZ2 final, but the parade on the pre-grid at 14:20. Please join us for that, whether you're tuned in online, tuned in on television, or whether you're here at Karting Genk. But from myself, Ken Walker, hope you enjoy your lunch break. Hope you've enjoyed this morning's racing.
Wave Tossies, Wave Watches Suzanne en Driftmieten.
Attention please, class KZ, Antrim, Art Grand Prix. Driver number 3, Ben Alley, immediately to the slot. Class KZ, Antrim, Art Grand Prix. Driver number 3, to the slot.
Excuseer aan alle mensen die alleen de ramp moeten stellen en geen eten. We hebben buiten onder de tent een tapo met drank. To all the people who just want to buy drinks and no food, we have a bar under the tent. Ça te signe pour acheter la boisson, seulement la boisson, sur le compte à la production.
Van Boom. Phoebe. C143, 743. Magnus. $743, 2 French fries, 743, 3 frieten. $767, 1 spaghetti, 1